two wheels again.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, just
Yeah.
forward a little bit. Back, just sort of rock forward and back, just find that, where that centre is again. Just
Yep.
refamiliarise, find that relaxed position again.
Yeah. Kia ora, ko Stephanie tuku ingoa, haere mai. Welcome to Adaptive Go. Hi, my name is Stephanie. So we're here today with Marcus from Omeo. We're going to have a look and see if we can get if I can get the Omeo up ramps into the back of our car here. So because I don't qualify for Ministry of Health funding or for ACC funding here in New Zealand, those are the two main funding sources, so I have to apply to fundraising organisations if I want to purchase the Omeo. I can of course do it myself, but it's like $23,000, and then a hoist to get it into the car is about another $10,000. So before I apply for funding, I want to find out what I'm capable of first, and whether I can use the ramps to get the Omeo into the car. The ramps for the Omeo are a lot cheaper, but because my disease is progressive, I might be better off just seeking the funding for the hoist, even if I can manage it by myself, because in 2 or 5 years time I won't be able to. So probably better to try and ask for or fundraise for everything that I need now, rather than waiting and seeing how the disease goes. You do it first.
So, probably go up backwards because it's got the wheels, the footplate.
I don't think I'm going to ever go, but I can see the concept. So Marcus was saying earlier when we were looking at putting the ramps into the car that I don't qualify for any funding sources, and so because there's no other agency involved in the purchase of the Omeo, that means I'm left with all the servicing costs going through, because in New Zealand we have this social insurance scheme for accident called ACC, so they'll usually buy the Omeo for the person that's injured and needs it, and then they'll sort of manage the ongoing kind of servicing costs. And the same with the Ministry of Health funding agency, if they get involved in the purchase, that's kind of how it works. But with me, because I'll be looking for alternative funding sources like charities and things like that, it'll be kind of up to me to service. So I was wondering what was involved with the Omeo in terms of ongoing costs.
It is there's a bit of a pattern that has been established, but the full life cycle of the Omeos is yet to be proven because it's a new assistive technology. So starting at the most expensive parts, which would be the drive batteries, the lithium ion batteries, segue, well, typically in prior products those batteries have been getting 10 years plus, but they are close to a $5,000 set of batteries here in New Zealand. So, you know, if you look at that as a fuel or a running cost, that's something it's a big hit in one go, but it is something that when you look at the number of charges and the number of miles that you can do within that, it is reasonably cheap running if you budget for it over time.
So that's kind of like this, it's almost up with the price of a car battery for an electric vehicle.
Heading in that direction, yes. One of those things, hopefully they'll come down in the future, you know, as it becomes more normalised. Typically those batteries, once they're run for the first year or so, they're under warranty for the first year, and once they make it past that, typically they're very robust. So any problems show up earlier. The other areas of maintenance, the batteries for the legs, lights and USB power, it's a little lead acid battery. They're a sub $100 battery that would get replaced as a dry cell lead acid recommended to be replaced every approximately 2 years. The gearboxes, there's a sacrificial elastomer in the gearbox that should run, depending how you ride it, how aggressively you ride it, gets replaced possibly between 3 years and 7 years, thereabouts. And they're a cheap part, but there's just a bit of labour because the body of the machine and everything needs to be pulled apart. So there's Omeo's looking at sort of a maintenance check at a year, where it'll be more of a tighten and adjust, make sure everything's moving properly, nothing's come loose, the actuators, the mechanism around the legs and so on are all firm and working in the lines that they need to. So there's sort of more of a preventative type maintenance check. Couple of years, maybe a little bit of a deeper dive in there, and you know, check that those other parts are not wearing, that they're running as they should.
That labour cost of pulling the Omeo apart and putting it back together and doing the checking, who does that labour? Like do I need to bring it here to Otaki, or how does it work? Can anybody do that work?
The surface work, just like tightening a few bolts, adjusting the wheel, making sure the wheels are inflated properly, that type of thing, and the cushions are all aligned and the seat back is running well. Anyone could do that sort of level.
So anyone,
once you have to get inside the machine, then it has to be a service agent, and that's sort of a warranty area as well, because of all the electronics and so on inside the machine. You know, it's the service agency's space, and at the moment we have service at the factory here in Otaki. Our agents up in Auckland and also down in Dunedin, Christchurch can also do servicing like that. As numbers grow into the future, there will be more service points, but that's where it is at the moment.
So Marcus, thank you very much for your time today and for answering my questions about the Omeo, and it's always a pleasure meeting you, so thank you. We'll have more on my journey as we move through working out how to fund and making that sort of final purchase decision and handing over some money. So make sure you subscribe so you can see more. Ka kite.